So what we're going to do is we're here to expose it, let people tell their story, and let everybody in the public see the horrors of the court system in Suffolk County, New York.
Long Island Backstory. Hi, I'm Gary Jacobs, and welcome to another edition of Long Island Backstory, where we're here today at Main Street in Smithtown, interviewing Supervisor Pat Vecchio. Today we're going to talk about something that many would think this day was actually never going to come, because as long as I've lived in Smithtown for over 20 years, we've been talking about sewers. It seems to take a lull, but then every election cycle, everybody comes up and says, hey, if I'm elected, I'm going to get sewers into Smithtown. And it's a talking point. There's photo ops, there's articles. But just recently, the governor just gave a grant to Smithtown, or I'm not sure if it's a grant, we'll ask the supervisor that, for $40 million. It's going to happen now. But now there's a lot of other questions that I personally have as to why we need sewers, why it's so important, and what it means. So Supervisor Vecchio, welcome to the program. Let's start off by the first thing. We've been talking about sewers. I've been here for 20 years. You may have been talking about it for longer than 20 years. Why do we need sewers in Smithtown? Why is it so important?
Well, because many years ago, the Department of Health of Suffolk County passed regulations that limited the amount of sewage that can go into the ground. As you well know, where you live and where others live is a cesspool. That sewage is going into the ground. It affects our groundwater. So there are limitations on development when the developer has to adhere to these very stringent rules about putting sewage into the ground. Sewers come along, they will advance that building owner or that building developer to be able to build what he needs to build and not be concerned about health regulations regarding groundwater.
So is it an economic issue, or is this an environmental issue?
Well, it's both. It certainly is an economic issue, because then you will have more development, more people mentioned empty stores. Well, those stores can now be useful. Right. The reason the empty stores remain is because the operation that somebody would like to put in that store cannot meet the regulations of Suffolk County Health.
So, but if you look at it as an environmental reason, how many homes are in Smithtown approximately?
35,000.
So if you have 35,000, but this sewer system is only going to affect a certain, I don't know how many homes it will affect, but it's mainly for businesses. Am I correct?
Yes, it's for downtowns. Yes.
So we're still going to be putting all this sewage into the ground from our homes.
Yes.
That's not going to stop that, is it?
But no, it's not.
Right.
But think how much sewage is being generated by commercial entities.
Right.
A huge office building. Think of the sewage that's being generated. Once we have sewage, that won't happen anymore.
Okay. So you've been talking about sewers for how long?
Well, I've been talking about them since the last sewer district was proposed in the late 70s, which became a scandal, and no government would touch sewers after that scandal.
And now we see how much it costs. So I guess realistically, the town never could have come up with $40 million. It wouldn't have happened, even though people would always keep saying during the election time, we want sewers.
Yes.
Talking to you, speaking to you, hey, supervisor, get the sewers, Now we see this is a $40+ million project.
For two downtowns.
Just for the two downtowns. So it wouldn't have happened without the state. But how did it come across that all of a sudden in 2017, why do we get $40 million?
Well, they've been talking about that for years. Sewers, how it would generate development and generate the upgrading of downtowns, etc. The county executive, in a speech the other day, referenced that he had done a walking tour with me downtown Smithtown. And it's his words, he said, I had laid out a vision and a plan for downtown if we were to have sewers. And that would mean you'd get apartments that could be generated over stores, which adds to the downtown, the pace or
more customers
pulse of the downtown. I can tell you about the theater, which would benefit greatly because you can't expand the theater without sewers and the like. So as you go along, think about even the school district, which wishes to sell some property for apartments. It would be very much easier for them to have that development if the sewers were there.
So this is a plan that you've been putting forward to
No, it's not my
the county
plan.
executive?
It's always been, but I did try to emphasize to the county executive.
And then the county executive then pitches it
He
to the
pitched it
governor?
to the governor, absolutely. You don't think the governor knows in all of the municipalities in the state, Kings Park.
Right.
So suddenly he announces in his State of the State message that he's going to allocate money for sewers in downtown Smithtown and Kings Park.
Now, with that, I mean, we're talking about all these businesses now that can expand and apartments. Will this actually bring in? Will it end up paying for itself down the road with the expanded business, or is that just way too much money to pay for itself? And I mean, do you think Cuomo's saying, well, you know what? Now they're going to generate all this extra taxes?
Yeah, absolutely. That may have been a consideration, because more development, more apartments, more stores that are filled generate more sales taxes.
Right.
And that's good for the county and the state.
Now, when I heard his speech, one of the things that bothered me, he said, "I'm giving you the money." It wasn't his money; it was taxpayers' money. But is he writing a check to Smithtown and Kings Park for is he writing a check for $40 million? Explain that.
The money that will become forthcoming for that capital project and many others throughout the state is going to be from a borrowing.
Okay.
So when the state borrows and receives the funds, then it will allocate the funds.
And then, so now everybody who's going to be on that grid, does everybody automatically have to be connected? Is that 40 million include connection? How does that work?
No, I think that what it does is give everyone an opportunity to connect.
So obviously the businesses who want to expand will do it.
Yes, obviously.
Right.
There's no two ways about it. It's hard to think that the greatest country in the world, and in the Empire State, New York State, that we're still putting sewage into the ground.
Yeah, I think it's unbelievable. We build developments every day with cesspools knowing the problem, but
Yes, of course.
that's another issue. I mean, in Smithtown, we're stuck with what we have. You know,
we do get our water that you and I drink comes from the groundwater. Right. So the more sewage in the ground, at some point in time, I don't know if it's 100 years from now or 200 or 50, we have to protect the groundwater.
Right, absolutely. So, all right. So now we put this. I guess it's a main line. Is there two lines? Where does?
I really don't know we have to design that. It has to be designed by engineers, but the one sticking point is going to be, we have to build a sewage treatment plant.
So isn't there one in Kings Park already?
Not enough. It doesn't have much capacity. It may have a little capacity left for Kings Park, but Smithtown would have to build a sewage treatment plant. And then that becomes the real question. Where do you go? Right. And so that's the real problem.
So now we do the sewage treatment plant, and it goes into, where does this sewage go? I mean, if it ends up being on Main Street, would it go into the Sound, or does it get cleaned and put into the ground?
No, you're right about that. It's a good question. When sewage goes into a plant, it gets treated and cleaned, whatever. And what left is called the effluent. The effluent has to go somewhere. So not only need the spot for the sewage treatment plant, but you need a place for the effluent to go.
Right. So does it need to be located near the? I mean, maybe I'm not correct. Is the plan for the treated effluent to go into the Sound, or does it get leached into the?
No. You can't. No.
So it gets leached into the ground somewhere.
It gets leached into the ground.
But it's cleaner material.
Well, but you have to have enough land where you can leach it.
Do we have spots like that left even?
That's another consideration that we'll have to face.
And I'm sure everyone's going to say, I don't want it in my backyard. I don't want the smell.
Exactly.
So what do one of these things look like? I mean, I've seen some that are like huge 3-story buildings and some that are short.
No. The only one I could point to is we have a condominium complex called Fairfield in St. James. And there is a sewage treatment plant. I guess it's about 230 units. I don't really know exactly. The sewage treatment plant is no bigger than a hut, and you can see it right from Mauritius Road as you drive by.
Okay, so it's not a big eyesore.
I don't know how large we would need for Smithtown. I have no idea. Engineers will develop all that.
Right. So this going back to the people who are connecting to the thing, do they pay a monthly?
The ones who connect,
are they paying back the loan?
No, the ones who connect will have to pay the cost of connecting.
So am I, as a resident who's not going to ever connect to the cess? I don't think I'm ever going to connect to the sewer. I'm too far away.
There'll be no impact on you.
There's no impact. It doesn't cost me anything.
No impact on you.
You know, so it's just for the people who are benefiting.
That's correct.
And of course, the town will. Well, either way, it's a win-win for the town. This is a big score for the town. We're not paying the money.
Well, you know what people don't know is we don't get the sales tax.
Oh, so it's
When the town permits, let's say,
Really?
a strip shopping center,
okay.
and that's going to generate a lot of sales tax,
Right.
we receive none of it.
Wow,
Half
that's
of it-
interesting. I didn't know that.
That's correct.
But you would get, if they renting out a building, you would get property. You're getting the property tax from
Property
that,
taxes,
correct?
yes.
But you're getting that anyway,
Yes.
unless it goes up because now they're renting.
Well,
they
the
have
larger the building, the
apartments.
more property taxes.
But it's really not a huge windfall
no,
for the town
no.
personally. This
I think it's going to be therapeutic in that when the sewers arrive and you'll see these buildings along main streets hook up, you will see the stores now will be no longer empty. They will be used.
and what time frame are we looking at for this? Is it
It's
in my
hard to
lifetime?
say. We have no. Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe your lifetime. Maybe not mine.
I mean, this is a long. I mean, it sounds like a huge project.
Yes, it will take years. I
Right.
can't say how many years.
But now the $40 million, obviously a lot. I would think most of this is labor. The cost of this is. I mean, there's pipes involved.
Well,
and-
you believe it or not, in almost everything you do, there's money. For example, we build an animal shelter. We're going to build one. There's a lot of money which we allocate. A lot of that money goes to the design and the engineering.
right.
And I suspect a lot of that money will go to engineering firms and design firms as to how this sewer system is implemented.
So who builds a sewer system? Because I guess there'll be a sewer district set up for this.
Yes, absolutely.
And is that a town sewer district or?
Well, I'm not sure yet. It could be the county sewer district. Or for example, in Kings Park, it will be an extension of a current sewer district there.
Okay.
We do have a sewer district, believe it or not, Charter Oaks and Kings Park, if you know that development.
Okay.
That's hooked up to sewers,
Right.
and that goes into the sewage treatment plant.
So that's a sewer. That would be considered one sewer district.
Yes.
And then we're gonna have a set. So there'll be two
Well,
sewer
in-
districts.
No, in Kings Park, the county will probably connect to the current sewer district rather than
Okay.
creating a new one.
Well, we'll have a new one for the Smithtown downtown.
Yes, yes.
So I have a stupid question. How do you deter? Does it have to run downhill? Is there? Could
Well,
sewage go up? Could it go down? I mean.
I'm pretty good at a lot of things, but I'm not an
Okay, so
engineer.
it wasn't a stupid
I'm
question.
not an engineer.
So, because I was wondering if this, how do we get it? The
Well, no,
sewage
yeah.
up. Can we get it up
No,
to
wait,
Kings
wait,
Park, or
wait.
does it have to go east?
Well, first of all, there's not enough
Capacity.
capacity left in Kings Park. I would imagine that sewers have to go up, and if they don't, meaning the flow has to go upwards, there's pumping stations along the route that will make it go up.
Okay, well that makes sense too. So what's the next step now? So now the governor is committed to the money. What's the next step? Is the next step finding a place to putting together this, working with the county to put together
Yeah,
a
and
sewer
then-
district?
Well, yes, I think if once the money's allocated, we'd have to spend it on design and engineering, and the determination as to where is the best place for a sewage treatment plant, etc.
Because what I was getting, as far as building it, would this bring jobs to
You see,
Smithtown?
that's the conundrum. When we mention sewers, everybody, oh boy, sewers are coming. But there's so much more that has to go into the fact that they're going to be implemented. Once again, where's that sewage treatment plant going? Do we have enough land for the effluent to just leach out? So those are large questions that have to be answered.
Right, and I guess the federal government with the Environmental Protection Agency is probably.
Well, there's going to be
Gonna be
pain
involved
also.
and-
Think about it. I think there's something like 17,000 cars a day travel Main Street here.
That's gonna be tough, but no.
Okay. So you think there'll be traffic jam?
So
here?
this sewer main pipe goes. Does it go down the main street? Is that where
I
it
would
goes?
think so.
Because that's where they have the land to.
No, that's where they have to hook up
put
to. You got to put the sewer closer to the buildings that are going to hook up, right?
right. So I can't go behind. It's probably
It's
going to
probably
go
down the main street.
go down
yeah.
the main street.
But I'm not an engineer, so I don't maybe know what.
So then we'll all be here next year. I'll be interviewing you, complaining about all the traffic on Main Street
Absolutely.
because of all the aggravation
That's for
the
sure.
sewers, but they don't affect me. So why do I care that we have traffic?
That's for sure.
So there's always unintended consequences. But for the long term, I think you
well,
fought
you know,
for it.
I must tell you, I think it was Robert Moses. You remember
Yeah,
him?
right.
Famous for
Parks.
everything that he's built, parks in the great state of New York. He once said, "You can't make an omelet without cracking an egg," and I think that's what people have to understand.
Right, right,
You can't reconstruct a road without detours and delays.
right. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we see it on 347 now. I mean, that was driving me crazy, all that traffic.
yes,
but
of
now that it's
course.
past my house,
Right.
now I'm happy because my traffic's cut back, and they did a nice job. And but yeah, for the last year or so,
Right.
that was just a nightmare. Main Street's going to be horrific, but I guess for the long term, better,
Well, but
we have to do this.
I do think, and I'm not sure I'm saying this correctly, but the sewer systems are no longer the big pipes that you would envision to carry the sewage. They tell me they can use 4-inch pipes now.
Wow.
To carry
because of the flow is so
with
so
flow and
fast.
pumping stations. Yeah, whether that's true or not, I'm not aware of.
Wow. Well, I'm thinking big
No,
3-foot
those days
pipes
are over.
that they got to rip up the entire
Well, you know, sewer
street to
systems
get
in
to
Europe,
them.
you can walk in the sewers of Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Is there anything else you want to talk about the when it was relating to the sewers and the money we got from the
No, but
the
I do want
government?
to talk about, you referenced it earlier on. You know, Smithtown is a great town for many reasons. One of the reasons is the fiscal ability that we have to keep the taxes low. And for those taxes people pay, services is wonderful. We have 3 beaches, 22 parks, planning, all of the things that make a town great, we fund them at not too much of a cost. If you notice the papers this year and for 2017, almost every town raised its town taxes. Smithtown, we had a diminished tax.
And I would argue we get more than most people get
Well, maybe.
in our town.
And the other thing is, we also just obtained a AAA bond rating, which is the highest credit rating a town could get. So I'm very proud of those achievements.
Yeah, and I know you love the town. I see you at the restaurants. You love our downtown.
Yes.
You're at many events, and Smithtown is a great town. For the people who are watching this out of the area, I'm always surprised that more people don't come into Smithtown, whether it's to go to the theater or to go to some of the restaurants that we have.
But you think about it, on Friday, Saturday night, it's almost impossible to get through town.
Right.
Because all of the restaurants do so well. We're becoming a restaurant town.
Right.
I think once the sewers are implemented, you will see many more restaurants and high-end restaurants.
What about bars? I mean, when I grew up, Smithtown had a lot more bars than it does. It seems like more have closed, and a lot of bars have moved to other towns, whether it's Patchogue or
you
River.
see,
Is that on purpose? Or?
No, I don't think so, because what you see downtown is called a central business district. Anything is permitted in a central business district. I think it's a matter of capitalism. If someone thinks he can make money with a bar, then he will try it. And if he doesn't, he fails, and then somebody else will try it. Mm-hmm. We don't say you can't put a bar anywhere. Well, certainly in certain zones you can't, but in the general central business district you can.
Right. So you just let it work out. Smithtown doesn't discourage businesses from opening up a bar if you're within the limits and zoned properly.
But government makes laws. Government has to follow the laws. So if the central business permits bars and grills in the central business district, then I think you have to follow that format and not prevent those who want to be a bar. But it's like water seeks its own level. You're not going to open up a hardware store next to another hardware store.
Right.
So it takes care of itself.
Right, great. Supervisor Vecchio, thank you for having the time to speak to me. Congratulations on finally getting the sewers. I mean, as I said, we've talked about this for so many years. I didn't think I would ever see it in my life. And I guess you're probably looking and saying, hey, thank God I didn't spend the town's money to put the sewers, because we just got the money from the state.
Are we still on camera?
Yeah.
Well, it would seem to me that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take years for this to develop.
But that's probably a good thing, to make sure that it's done properly.
It's always a good thing, yes.
Great. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Supervisor.
Thank you.
Long Island Backstory. Chief Correspondent Gary Jacobs is uncovering the truth on Long Island. The family court system. Red light cameras. Corruption in local politics. The heroin epidemic. Corrupt judges. At Long Island Backstory, we uncover the truth that the Cablevision news monopoly won't dare touch. We uncover the details you won't see on News 12 or in Newsday. We are local independent media at its best. Long Island Backstory, available on public access TV and on YouTube.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Son, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.